Hello, Grade 5. This lesson is about the active voice and the passive voice. Welcome back to our virtual classroom. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will be able to identify active and passive voices. You will also be able to identify the voice of the verb in each given example. You will also be able to differentiate between the active and passive voice. And finally, you will be able to change the voice of the verb from active to passive and vice versa. Let's take a look at the first image. The cook is slicing. And here, the ham is being sliced by the cook. Wild penguins attacked my sister. This sentence is in the active voice because the subject did the action, attacked. Whereas here, my sister was attacked by wild penguins. The subject did not do the action. Sister didn't attack the wild penguins. On the contrary, the sister was attacked by the wild penguins. So this one is in the passive voice. The verbs used in active voice are known as active verbs. Many active verbs are irregular in the past tense. Active voice can be in the present, in the future, and in the past tense. Let's take a look at these examples. She takes a big bite out of her muffin. Takes is the verb here. Do you think it's an active voice verb? Definitely, because the subject is the doer of the action. She takes. She did the action. He threw a piece of wood onto the fire. Threw is the active verb. The subject is the doer, not the receiver. He threw the piece. So this is an active verb. The ship will sail as soon as the captain returns. Will sail is the verb here. It is an active verb because the action was done by the ship. Passive voice verbs tell what action is done to the subject. Passive verbs always need help from the verb to be, and sometimes from other helping verbs too. You need to ask yourself this question. Is the subject of the sentence receiving the action or being acted upon? Take a look. The muffins are taken out of the oven. Are taken is the verb. It's obviously a passive voice verb because the muffins did not do the action. The action was done to the muffins. The muffins just received the action. We have the verb to be are here, the helping verb, and then we have the main verb which is taken. So this is in the passive voice. The ships were sailed by new captains. Again, here, were sailed is the verb. Were is the verb to be, and sailed is the main verb. This is also in the passive form because the ships did not do the action. The captains did the action. Since the subject did not do the action, this is in the passive form. Sentences written in active voice are stronger or more direct than sentences in passive voice. To change passive voice to active voice, ask yourself, who or what did the action that the subject received? Let's take a look. All the spinach was eaten by my sister. As you can see, it's in the passive form. Because the spinach did not do the action, obviously, the sister did it. So what we can do is we can put the sister in the beginning. My sister ate all the spinach. Now it's in the active voice form. Second example. The cows will be milked in the morning. Definitely the cows didn't milk themselves. So the action was not done by the cows. The cows is not the doer, it's the receiver of the action. So what we can do, we can say that she or he or any person milked the cows in the morning or will milk the cows in the morning. Let's review. When a sentence is written in the active voice, the subject does the action or the verb. For example, the teacher marked the books. While when a sentence is written in the passive voice, the subject has the action done to it. The subject receives the action. The books were marked by the teacher. Let's take a look at another example. Jake chased the bus. Here, Jake did the action. He chased. So this is in the active voice. While in the passive voice, it would be the bus was chased by Jake. Next example, the children are baking a cake. The children here did the action, so it's in the active voice. While in here, a cake is being baked by the children. The cake isn't baking itself. It's not the doer, it's just the receiver, so this is in the passive voice. Alice slammed on the brakes. Alice did the action. She slammed. While in the passive form, the brakes were slammed on by Alice. The brakes received the action. Can you fill in the blanks? The car ran over the ball. This is in the active form. How can we change it to passive? You can say, the ball was run over by the car. Let's take a look. Now we have it in the passive form. We have to change it to the active form. The cat was rescued by the firefighter. In the active form, you can say, the firefighter rescued the cat. Next example, the students held a study session. Here, this is in the active form. How can we change it to the passive form? You could say, the study session was held by the students. And finally, the song is being sung by Alex. This sentence is in the passive form. How can we change it to the active form? Alex is singing a song. Keep in mind, to form a passive sentence, you need to use a passive verb. Verb to be, acting as a helping verb, and the main verb. The subject is not doing the verb. Our turkey was eaten by the dog. The subject is our turkey. The passive verb is was eaten, and the actor is the dog. The doer is in the end. Our turkey was eaten by the dog. The action of the verb is done to the subject.
Voice, active and passive. In grammar, the voice of a verb describes its relationship with the subject, object, or any other element in a sentence. The verb can be in the active voice or in the passive voice. Look at these sentences. In all these sentences, the same messages are given in two different ways, that is first in the active voice and then in the passive voice, without changing the meaning or the tense. When the subject is the doer of the action, the verb is in the active voice. When the subject is the receiver of the action, the verb is said to be in the passive voice. A simple sentence in active voice has the following pattern: subject doing the action plus verb plus object receiving the action. For example, Arushi teaches Rahul. A simple sentence in passive voice has the following pattern: subject receiving the action plus be plus past participle of verb plus by plus object doing the action. For example, Rahul is taught by Arushi. In passive form, a transitive verb is made up of the verb be with a past participle. Usually, the preposition by introduces the passive object in a sentence. Remember this: the object of the active verb becomes the subject of the passive verb. For example, a doctor prescribes medicines. Medicines are prescribed by a doctor.
You got this, didn't you? Stay safe until next time.